Hey, welcome one and all to the TFL podcast for week 12. Man, if you didn't catch the very beginning of the episode, then you were in for a surprise. Fun. Well done with the audio cues there, Arch. I love it.
No worries.
Fantastic.
You won't hear that on the audio pod. It will just that'll just be on the old,
Come catch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's it. So speaking of YouTube, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. You can find us at the TFL Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are on TikTok as well, where you can find our plays of the week that we cover in the show, of course. So please head along there. Give us a sub. We'd really appreciate it. Apple Podcasts, 5-star reviews. Thank you very much. Appreciate that as well. We are here to talk DFS for the NFL for week 12. And we play on Draftstars. Draftstars are a very solid platform, and we have enjoyed partnering with them this year. You can join Draftstars at bit.ly/join Draftstars. Give us a little,
absolutely.
You know, it's handy to use that link. That's what we would say. And we every week, we use every week we have a podcast listener competition. It is a $5 single entry contest, and you can find it at bit.ly/TFL week 12.
Yes.
All right. It's good. We have the Patreon is back as well.
Probably, yeah. Sorry, Ron. I'm just going to interrupt.
Yeah, thanks.
I feel like this is the week maybe that you thought, would be have been a good spot for me to do a takeover, but get on with it, mate.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on with it. Oh, dear. It's been a big day. And we're here to talk DFS, which is a joy. I love talking DFS and NFL. It's fantastic. Patreon's back. Patreon.com/the TFL podcast. You can catch Archer's magnificent spreadsheet with projections for points, but also projections for ownership. And that is something we don't see that often here in Australia. So check out the Patreon and get on board with our rostership percentage projections.
Yes.
And look, it's $5 a month. It costs less than 3 mini entries a month. Come on, get on board. You can DM us if you would like a free trial for a week to see if you'd like it. I promise you it's worth your time. Arch, week 11 happened. It was fine. How was yours?
Yeah, we did all right. Nothing to write home about. I think I think we just need to look forward at a huge week 12. We have 2 slates we're going to talk about tonight, Ron.
I know. So we're just going to crack in. So we got Thanksgiving tomorrow. Now, if you're listening on the podcast, I understand. You're probably going to not really care about this because if you're listening on the podcast, it comes out tomorrow and Thanksgiving's already happening. So for those of us who are here on the live stream or want to check out YouTube later tonight at midnight, let's quickly go through some of our favorite plays for the Thanksgiving slate. We're just going to go position by position here. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Let's start with quarterbacks. You've got Josh Allen at the top. He is a gun. We know that. He's coming up against Detroit.
Rowan.
Yes. Rowan. Arch, what have I missed?
You forgot something. Oh, yeah! It's Thanksgiving Turkey Day preview time. Only valid for a few hours before it starts. Yeah.
Well, here I thought we'd save this for the week 12 matchups, but that's fine.
Mate,
we can do it.
We can do it twice in an episode. Give the people what they want.
Excellent. We'll do that. Josh Allen, everybody, is the lead quarterback for Thanksgiving. Buffalo at Detroit. Detroit's defense has been just pretty average and pretty poor. 25th overall in defensive DVOA. Josh Allen comes in with a poor game against Cleveland. Only 1 passing touchdown. Only rushed for 7 yards. threw for less than 200 yards. So he's going to want to come back strong. Detroit are a fantastic offense to do that against. I like stacking Josh Allen a lot. The other guys I actually don't mind Jared Goff on the other side. And that's because in the last 4 weeks, what we've actually seen from a defensive point of view is that the Bills are 24th in defending expected points added per play, and they're actually 26th in defending pass EPA per play. Like, what's going on with the Bills here in the terms of defense? So, look, I actually think that Goff and Monroe St. Brown can do something. So I don't mind playing a cheap Goff, low-rostered Goff as well. Thank you for joining us. Campy, it's good to see you, mate. Just jumping on while he puts the daughter to sleep to say in honor of Thanksgiving. He's thankful Arch ran out of wine, so he had to bring back the show to bring in the dolls to replenish it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Campy. Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's Arch's wine rack. You can see that in the background.
Still, no one's contacted me about a decent supplier who could give me some, good valued wine. So if you're out there,
come on,
you know where to find me.
Jump back in. Look, I'm kind of avoiding the last game, which is New England at Minnesota. I don't think Kirk Cousins can get it with New England's fantastic pressure. Dak Prescott, though, against the Giants, Dak Prescott's got weapons. The only question mark I have is if the Dallas Cowboys just want to run it on the ground. That's just the biggest question for me. Anyway, so they're probably my 3 favorite quarterbacks: Allen, Dak, and Goff. Not saying you can't play the others, but anyway, you don't want to play too many quarterbacks tomorrow.
No.
Arch, what do you think in terms of running backs?
Dallas, just talking about quarterbacks, just quick.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Plus points, they drop down to a pass rate of 4%, so not really what you're sort of aiming for there. So,
true.
Running backs, we got Saquon Barkley as the big dog of the slate at 16.5K. Disappointed a lot of people last week, and so I'm a little bit worried how we're going with that one. So, me just will get that ownership nice and low. So, I don't mind that one. But where my ownership coming into play will be Andre Stevenson. Huge value at 13.6K. Minnesota 22nd in adjusted fantasy points to running backs, but I'm projecting 50+% ownership on this slate. So to me, you don't get too scared off by percentage on a 3-game slate. You're just expect that to happen, but just be aware, if he fails, he could sink a whole bunch of lineups, and if you fade him and go somewhere else, you could climb the leaderboard. So just depends on how you think that game's going. Do you think Harris is going to jump in and do some damage to his share? It'll be interesting to see. Devin Singletary, Rowan?
Yeah, I like Devin. He's shown off the last couple of weeks. He's being used, which is good. And if Buffalo... Well, I think it's tough, though, because he's really the guy they use in neutral spots. If they get up big, then James Cook might be the guy to come in and mix through. So it's a hard one. But if Buffalo allow Detroit to stay in the game, then I don't mind Singletary at all.
No, and to me, it's that's the game script, isn't it? If Detroit are at home, and when Detroit are at home, Goff's been able to air it out. I think that they've had game totals at home of 60 plus, like averaging for the year. So Goff can, when they're forced to throw, they can throw, and so if I'm playing Singletary, I'm playing him in a lineup thinking, hey, this is going to be fairly neutral game script. Lions keep up, so therefore I have to have a line on the other side bringing it back, maybe even 2. Definitely. So if I'm playing Singletary, I'll not play him without a line on the other side. So something to think about. Dalvin Cook should bounce back, I think, in a more favourable game script at home. Look, it's not going to be a pretty game. Lots of pressure is going to be put on Cousins. Maybe Cook can actually be maybe the mainstream of offense for the Vikings. So
that's good. My 2 cents is obviously you got Pollard in there. Pollard just killing it last few weeks, and Zeke was back last week. Sneaky play from me is that you could play both Zeke and Pollard, and just hope that Dallas just destroy the Giants on the ground. I think this is the thing with Thanksgiving. Tell a story. What's the story that you're going to tell with this lineup? So I think that's part of it. DeAndre Swift at 8,400 is just really cheap for what he can do. If he can find those spots to break through and find a couple of big plays, then he could be the slate breaker here, to be honest, DeAndre Swift. So watch that one for sure. Wide receivers, whip through wide receivers, and we've got here, big guys. Diggs, Jefferson, Lamb, right up the top. Diggs, not too much to worry about. Really like Diggs this week. Jefferson, he's coming up against New England, who, let me just check here. In terms of DVOA, pass DVOA, New England are, what's that? They're first in pass DVOA, defending the pass. So that makes me nervous. But Justin Jefferson's coming off a pretty poor game, so there is a chance that he just, he becomes, once again, the premier wide receiver in the competition, and it doesn't matter who he's playing against. But it's the pressure on Cousins that really does make me nervous. So those, and CeeDee Lamb, we talked about how Dallas loves to run. So those two, Jefferson and Lamb, give me pause. But it's Amon-Ra St. Brown that I love. Priced really, really nicely at 13,000. Bills are giving out the 4th most fantasy points to the slot in their last 4 games. 33.9% targets per route run in the last 4 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I really think he's a smash play. I don't think you can go wrong with Amon-Ra this week. The Bills wide receivers, like I said, Diggs, not a worry. Detroit are 25th in overall DVOA, and they're 32nd in defending explosive pass percentage. So give me Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis.
Yep.
Can we see a boom game like we love to see out of Gabe Davis? Look, he's probably one of my favorite plays this week because he won't be garnering the same rostership as the guys up here. Don't mind Jacoby Myers. Adam Thielen could be a beneficiary if they lock down Jefferson. So those guys I'm kind of looking at. I don't mind Nelson Aguilar, to be honest, or Devontae Parker on the outside. You got to find these cheap guys. Vikings are giving out the most points to wide receivers out wide in the last 4 games, so look for those two to potentially benefit. And then you've got DJ Chark. DJ Chark returned last week on limited snaps, returning from injury, and I think he should see a role increase. He really was one of the main dudes in that first 3-game stretch. I think he puts a limit on Khalif Raymond's role, but really, it's probably going to be Raymond and Chark on the outside with the Amon-Ra through the middle with no TJ Hawkinson. That's probably how they'll probably play a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So, worth a punt, I think, DJ Chark at 6K. Same with Khalif Raymond. So they're probably my picks for the wide receiver spot. Tight end, though, Arch, where are you leaning here?
Look, to me, it's really, I'm only going to have confidence playing 3 guys, and the 3 guys up the top. And they're, you're really just splitting hairs with salary. TJ Hawkinson's obviously the more expensive one, but, he's still getting worked into the game. We look at New England. They're not blitzing heaps at the moment, but they're still getting plenty of pressure to the quarterback. And Cousins, we saw last week with pressure, it's not great. Does Hawkinson benefit from quick throws out? Are they just going to try to quick move the ball down the field? I don't mind him. Always a chance for the touchdown. Dawson Knox, I think he's really starting to get himself into some form. They've clearly got a plan for him near the end zone. I think he can capitalize here in Detroit, which should be the highest scoring game. I think, is it 54 over under at the moment it's sitting at?
I think you're right.
And so, I want all the Buffalo touchdowns. So Knox is going to be plenty of my lineups. And Dalton Schultz as well. He's got that good target share in Dallas now that Dak's back. Again, the worry is that they sit on the ball. But target share is good on a small slate. That's what I'll take that. Other than that, I'm not too keen on any of the cheap guys. Are you, Ron?
The one guy I'll mention, because his name's been thrown around a little bit, is a guy called Lawrence Cager. He was a wide receiver in college. The Giants are really struggling for tight end talent, but they like to use the
talent.
spot. Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if under pressure, Daniel Jones throws it underneath to Cager a bit. So look, he's probably my punt play of tight end land this week.
Yep.
You got a favorite stack? Mine is Goff. I know it's ugly. No one likes to play Goff, but I'm going to play Goff with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it gives me enough salary to then potentially go a couple of these Buffalo receivers back, Diggs and Davis. And yeah, you can play DJ Chark in that as well. Again, really what that is doing, it's making the most of that high total.
Yeah.
But with the potential to still be leveraging the field. And that's really, really important to be able to find those little ways to get different. So, yeah, they're probably the ways that I will... that's one way that I'll do it. But Archie, of course, like the Buffalo stack.
Yeah. Look, I really rate the Goff stack, by the way. But yeah, if we're going for full ceiling, it's got to be Josh Allen. I want all the touchdowns on the Buffalo side. And I'm hoping that the game is back and forth, so I don't mind to try to make a Buffalo stack different. I'm going to fade Diggs here and just go a Singletary, Davis, and Knox. But I'm going to bring it back with Amon-Ra, even though it would be the more chalky piece. But I feel like this sort of lineup, you can afford that. And a Khalif Raymond, maybe a DJ Chark. These are the things I'll cycle through. But I'm really keen on, I'm probably going to be underweight on Diggs on the field tomorrow. I think that's going to be my strategy. That all right, Diggs doesn't get there for his salary, and the touchdowns go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you have to make these choices. I think on these small slates. Where am I really going to fade hard because the player pool's not that big? So
exactly.
I don't mind that at all. And I actually think pivoting from a Diggs to a Barkley could be a great leverage play at that price point as well. Anyway, guys, that is Thanksgiving. And if you've lasted with us this long, thank you, because we're going to jump in now to Week 12. Looking forward to our big Monday slate coming up. Let's play the music again. Let's just do it again.
Oh, yeah! Ha, ha. It's another Week 12 preview. Ha.
All right, let's go. I'm going to bring up on the screen here for those lovely people on YouTube the TFL contest, the NFL Monday TFL podcast contest.
Oh, the greatest contest in Australian DFS.
Known to man. And we're going to kick off our time together in week two. We already have, but with the Monday slate, with the Chargers taking on Arizona. And the big news is that hopefully Kyler Murray's back.
Yep.
Because Colt McCoy just isn't going to get it done. Let's be honest. So, look, Kyler could be back off of, I think it was a hamstring. And if he is back, it just elevates this game a lot. And it's what we're hoping for. Because really, we want both sides to feel like that they have the need to compete and can stay in this game. So let's go to quarterbacks. And we'll talk about the Chargers first. All right, Chargers first. They are 7th in pass rate over expectation, which I actually really like for Justin Herbert. It's priced there at $30,500. Herbert stacks 100% in play this week. And look, we know that Mike Williams got injured again. Don't think he's probably going to make it back. So it means that we're left with Allen at $12,410 and Joshy Palmer. Now, Joshy Palmer, didn't he have a game last week?
He did.
And even with that massive game, he's still priced at $8,740, which is ridiculous. So let's just seriously lock in Josh Palmer. The value for him this week is fantastic. With Mike Williams out, Keenan Allen, he'll be there, but he'll be playing underneath. Palmer showed how well he can stretch the field. I really like Palmer. But the thing is, he's going to be rostered a lot on this slate. So you got to be mindful of that, of course. Get different elsewhere, because I think Palmer's a pretty good chalk piece this week. So Keenan Allen, though, priced at $12,410, is pretty solid for what we know he can do. But the question in my mind is that is he really back? Yes, I think he played about just under 70% of the snaps last week. We haven't seen his ceiling for a year, let's be honest. So there's a question mark here. And I think it comes with Gerald Everett. Now, Gerald Everett, He's dealing with, I've just forgotten exactly what he's dealing with, but an injury. He's questionable. My apologies, everyone. I've forgotten. But either way, he's priced really nicely, 7,820. And guess what? Arizona, over the last 5 games, have given up, on average, 21.7 PPR fantasy points per game to tight ends. It's just ridiculous, like how bad Arizona actually are at defending tight ends. Like we saw Kittle go off. We've seen a number of these guys just make the most of their chances. And Everett, if he's healthy, should be making the most of those chances. So I think the question then is, if there's no Everett, who sees a benefit? Because we saw Everett miss last week, and the tight ends, Trey McKitty he did nothing. Richard Rodgers did nothing. Stone Smart did 1 catch for 6 yards. Like, they just didn't go there at all.
Stone Smart, never even heard of the bloke.
Exactly. Who cares? So it's Everett or it's nothing, really, in this offense. I honestly think that it's Everett or it's nothing. So where are those underneath targets going to go? That's when I think Keenan Allen can hit. That's when he can be good. So we might see 12 targets for Keenan Allen, and that would be fantastic to see that for Keenan Allen without Everett on the team. The other option, though, is, of course, our man, Austin Eckler, priced there at 17,490. And there's just no reason to not play Austin Eckler. Like, it's not the best of matchups. It's not the worst of matchups. It's just fine. And Austin Eckler, we know that he gets the target shares. He's taking those balls down the field. Now, last week, didn't see as many catches. Why? Probably because we had both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams back in the side. So, and they had to throw deep. They had to throw deep against Kansas City, let's be honest. So, Austin Eckler is a fine play. He's a middle-of-the-road play, should be low-owned. If you really want to go heavy on him and get leverage through him, then I think there's a possibility to do that. But either way, there's no reason not playing. And that's kind of where I'm sitting here with that other side of the ball. Kyler Murray, with him back, the whole offense gets a lift. We talked about that before. And potentially, our good friend Marquise Brown could be back off of IR. Now, if he is off of IR, then I have heard that Cliff has come out and said he's going to be on limited snaps.
Of course.
But he's 6K. He's so cheap. He's base priced for a wide receiver. Yeah. And really, I don't think we haven't yet. We haven't seen this offense work with Hopkins and Brown. I'm excited by that. Like, to put both of those guys on the outside opens up this game, opens up this offense heaps, which is really
about ownership
exciting.
with Marquise Brown if he is active at 6K? Or do you think
maybe there's a few more Cliff quotes that will put people off? I'm not sure. Yeah. But why not?
Risky. Why not? It's 6K.
6K. Hey, but you're right. I think it's a cash play, potential cash play. But, yeah, he could fail. There's still room to fail if he's playing those limited snaps. This is my guy that I really like, though. Oh, Dortch, man.
Dorchy.
I love Dorchy. With Rondale Moore off last week, 10 targets, 9 receptions, 103 yards. Thank you very much down the middle. And the Chargers, not very good at defending the middle of the ground. Especially if Marquise Brown is limited and they have to play AJ Green again on the outside, then aside from Hopkins, Dortch is where you're going to if you're Kyler Murray. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. Like, Dortch did this early in the year, way back when, in those first 3 weeks. So he's paid off. It's really, if there's no more, there's Dortch. And it doesn't matter how good he is necessarily. It's just the role. So I really like Dortch this week. The play that I like the most, though, on this offense is the running back. It is James Conner. Kyler's back, opens up things. He's a threat on the ground, which means Conner can have a little bit more space to move. And I really like that for this. Really, he's a workhorse. He's just getting all the touches. He's running against the 29th team in defensive rush EPA per play, the Chargers, and they're also 30th in defensive rush DVOA. There's just, no reason to not play James Conner, but there's actually a lot of reasons to play James Conner as well. So I really like James Conner.
It's interesting, just looking at our roster projections here, it's only popping out at 1.5%. So
that's a beautiful thing.
if he's got the workload and on a trickier slate, maybe that could really open it up for you.
Oh, I think so. I think a lot of people will pivot to Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, ETN, Derrick Henry. There's all these guys around James Conner that you would probably, by name value, rather play. But the workload that James Conner has gotten in the last couple of weeks is so solid. Against the Chargers, I love James Conner. So
in the run funnel.
Exactly. Trey McBride, right? He's the guy that filled in for Zach Ertz, and he's a rookie, and he did whatever last week. But that was with McCoy. Potentially Murray elevates that. Either way, I'm probably not touching it. That brings me to some stacks. Herbert, of course. If you're going to stack Herbert, I think you stack Palmer. I think you kind of have to stack Palmer because of the price that he is, the salary relief that he gives you. And then you go one of Allen, Everett, or Eckler. If it's not Everett, then you can choose Allen or Eckler. But I actually will. If Everett's in, I'm definitely playing Everett. Like it's almost a guarantee. And to stack Herbert with Everett and Palmer, super cheap. I really like it. And then you bring it back with Connor or Dortch because we love Dortch. And on the other side, play Murray with Hopkins, with a Dortch or a McBride if you think McBride gets some of those in and under targets as well. And then bring it back with an Everett if he's around because I like correlating the tight end spot. Or Austin Eckler, because he's Austin Eckler. That's how I'm viewing this game.
Beautiful.
Archie boy, what do you got next for us?
We're looking at Vegas at Seattle. That's our second highest total on the slate. Can you believe it? This is week 12. Here we are. After it was Seattle. Did they have the bye last week, Ron? I think they did.
Yes, Seattle did have the week
off. It feels
off.
like ancient news, but let's not forget what Seattle has been up to over the year. They've been not slowly, but just quietly cooking here. And Gino's just turned himself into someone you can actually, produce some fantasy assets. So let's just quickly have a look. They're Seattle home favourites, by the way, 3.5 points, or 3 points, sorry, and game total 48 on playup.com.au. Seattle, last 5 weeks, Seattle are third in pass rate over expectation, 7th in points per game. They're getting stuff done on the field, and you pair this with a leaky Las Vegas defense that is dead last in total and pass DVOA. You have a recipe for some points here, Rowan, and so let's not just poo-poo the names of these teams. Let's actually think about the math equation that we have to solve here for DFS. That's right. So play Gino with confidence this week. He's 12K, and you can see what is capable of a 30-point game. But you're happy in the low 20s really if he manages to service the players that we pair with him. So I don't mind Gino here in what should be potentially a pass fest. Pass catches, fire up your Metcalf and Lockett. They've actually priced them up over their buy.
Just a touch.
Just a
touch.
touch.
$1,000 more than they used to be.
Yeah, just used to seeing that 10K mark on Metcalf and Lockett. Still not willing to separate them, are they, Draftstars? They love putting them back to back, but
which is fair enough, to be honest.
Absolutely fair enough. Like, who are you going to pick? Like, they're just great. How amazing for Gino to have these two amazing wide receivers that he gets to play with. And
it's very nice. It's very nice.
Love it. So cycle them through. Don't know if I have the confidence to double stack Gino. It'd be different, but probably not. But maybe I'll throw one in there.
Against Vegas, I'm happily going to do it.
Yeah, against Vegas, you're right. So do it. Just careful with your tight ends here. We're looking at these are potentially where we can get some cheap tight ends on this slate. Fant is the one that you're probably going to lean towards. It's a kind of like a bit of a 55-45 snap share at the moment, but the key difference is that Fant's getting the end zone targets, and he's the leader in air yards. But we've had 5 weeks and no touchdowns to either of these blokes, so
that's right.
It's tough. But 2 games ago, 96 yards from Fant. We all think Fant should be a good player, right? So maybe one day. Maybe this is the slate where he can actually pop.
I'd like to think so.
I hope so. But really, what we're excited about is Ken Walker, and he's going to command the ownership here in this game. We're looking at a 16+% ownership at the minimum, I think, on a slate where Vegas they're just leaking points, and Walker's just been good, hasn't he? So
good.
And he's doing everything. I think we're looking at 80+% snap share at the moment. 8 targets the last game he played. 8 targets to this man. And so, you're playing with confidence. You're almost guaranteed 100 yards from scrimmage plus and a touchdown. So I don't mind a bit of Kenneth Walker. Is he the most expensive he's been so far this year at $14K, I believe? So.
Oh, he's priced, the most he's been for sure.
But he's earned that, and I'll happily pay. Vegas, on the other hand, look, Vegas thinks this is now. When I say Vegas, I've realised I've written in my notes. The bookies think that this will be a close game. Seattle have been great against the run, though. They're 5th in rush EPA defensively over the last 5 weeks, so. Carr's going to have to look through the air. Derek Carb, as old Antonio Brown. What is Antonio Brown like? Can someone just do something about him? Anyway, I'm not going to play Derek Carr. Sorry, mate. I'm glad you had a good win, but that was your ceiling game pretty much, 23 points.
It's true.
Sure, you're going to save salary, but really, you're servicing one man, and that man I will play, and that's Devontae Adams, who's finally priced up. We're not getting a 13K Devontae Adams anymore.
Yeah. 3 weeks of it's going to do it, isn't it?
3 weeks at 13K scoring 30+ points. Yeah, they'll add 5K to his title. It's what are we looking at here? We're still thinking he's going to be mildly popular, just because of the points that you're going to get from him. But he's sorry, my light's just fallen down. But anyway. Devontae Adams, though, like, you're going to play him. Like, it's almost vintage now, isn't it? Old
it's
Walker.
You kind of set and forget.
Adams. Yeah, so you're playing with confidence. What are we looking at? 13+ targets over the last 3 weeks. 13 was the minimum. The rest, I think, were 15 and 18 targets. Carr's got no one else. The only person you might consider playing maybe is a bit of a Mac Hollins, maybe. 97% route participation. And we're no longer 6K Mac Hollins, but he's still under 9K. 24% targets per route run, so he's still earning some targets there. And so, they can't do 100% targets to Adams, so some have to go to Hollins, and he's known to sneak a touchdown here and there. Foster Moreau, though, wasn't he disappointing? He's He's not a 5K tight end either now, so he's in that awkward price where I'm just avoiding Moreau. Yep. He could only manage, where is it? I think it was like 0.08 targets per route run. Like, get open, lad.
But he's not Darren Waller.
He's not. It turns out he's not Darren Waller. So let's. How are we going tonight, Rowan?
We're on fire. Josh Jacobs, you mentioned Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
we're fading him.
I am. I think I'm not that really fast. As I said, Seattle are pretty good against the run. We're seeing 5th in rush EPA over the last 5 weeks. Probably looking to air it out. That's all. Peachy, he's in. Stacking. Let's stack this game. Obviously on the Geno side, and I don't mind putting a Walker in there. When you're getting that much target share as a running back, it's you're giving yourself access to all the touchdowns, pairing them to, and then I'll go a Locker or a Metcalf probably in here. Probably not feeling an onslaught with both of them, and the bring back's obvious, right? Devontae Adams,
love it. No, very good, good stuff. I like the Smith Walker. You're not going to get that too often. Yeah. And they'll make it unique, that's for sure. But you get access to all the touchdowns, then that's for sure. All right, I'm going to real quick, because let's be honest, you don't need to talk about Houston much. But Houston-Miami is a game that's happening, and there's over under 46.5, which is like whatever. But it's Miami's total that we love, because I think they're favored by a whole bunch of points. 14 points. That's that's stupid. Look, Tua's in play only because of the over-under and because of that their pass rate over expectation is 4th. Like, that's great. You love that. That's really, really solid because that's how they've been winning games. They've been getting it to Tyreek and Waddle, and they've just been monstering it, in that 15-yard from the line of scrimmage mark. Like, they just keep being yards after the catch gods as well. But the thing is, Arch, if they are 14-point favorites, which is it's just stupid how big that margin is. But like the Texans don't love it, but they will just allow teams to run the ball. And you got Wilson and Mostert here, who are both really solid running backs. Now, Mostert only saw 28% of the snaps last week. 2 weeks ago before the bye. And really, Mostert at 10,470, I think, is really solid. If this is going to blow out, they're going to use both Mostert and Wilson here. Wilson at 12,090 is fine as well. But I think, I don't know, because of how good it is for Mostert and Wilson, I am really tempted to just fade Hill and Waddle and just avoid this stack because I think there's other places to get good leverage with closer games. And Tua's not going to need a 35-point game here. He's just not. No. He's not going to need a 30-point game to win. He could play that 15.9. He could play to his floor and win in this game. So I think that's the danger. We might want to go to it, but I honestly think the more I look into it, the more I think about how Miami will win this game. I think it's with Old McDaniel's favorite two running backs, Mostert and Wilson. So that's where I'll probably be focusing my Miami efforts on, is both of those guys. And I'm happy to have access to both of them. Now, Miami have been very poor in defense, 28th in defending the pass, 21st in defending the rush, 29th defending overall, and that's for expected points added per play. But let's be honest, you got Kyle Allen coming in to start for Houston because Davis Mills has sucked so bad, and that still puts zero confidence in me. So I'm not going to stack this game with either of the wide receivers. I don't care about Cooks. I don't care about Collins this week. The only place I care about is Dameon Pierce because I know he's going to get touches. I know he's going to be used. And if they get into the goal line somehow, if they get into the red zone, then Pierce is going to be the guy in there as well. So, look, this game is a little bit ugly for me, but we played it here because of Miami's massive over-under. But, hey, if Miami score 35 points in terms of real points, then I actually think a lot of those are going to come through the ground. So, I'm going to be playing the running backs. I'm not really going to be stacking this game. What do you think, Arch?
Yeah, beautiful. Can you hear me? I think I
you're good. You're good. I got you.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Mainly as I wasn't listening was while I just went disconnected on us.
Let's talk Kansas City.
Yeah. Good. Now I can see the screen again. Kansas City, hosting the Rams, another 14 or 15-point favorite here. Like on a 43 over-under on playup.com.au. Like this is the slate where this is, we're previewing one of our top games with a 43 over-under. The reason is it's Kansas City, right? 29 and a half, I think it implied total here. So,
just losing my mic all over the place as well. We're having a night, and we are loving it.
Let's just take a pause and just say hi to CMOS and the Aussie
Hey,
Fantasy
CMOS.
Football guys. Look, we've had a day, and we're just working through this stuff. So,
quick, let's make it quick. Kansas City, you like
Kansas City?
They're favored by 15 points. There's nothing else to say.
Piss off, Rams. I'm not interested in you.
Nope.
Fire up Mahomes. Rams, they're allowing the 29th pass rate over expectation to opposing teams and a 26th in pass EPA per play defensively. Like they are giving it up on through the air. And I heard Mahomes is pretty good through the air. So I don't mind that at all. Kansas City, top 3 in pass metrics in pretty much everything, really. We're talking about EPA per play, pass percentage, pass rate over expectation, explosive pass percentage, points per... I mean, I could go on. Top 3 in the league, like, over the last 5 weeks. They're cooking, mate. So play Mahomes with confidence. He's one of going to be my heavy stacks going on. On the pass catches, Kelsey's your top dog here. 16K. You're paying up for him, but you're looking at someone who's getting 0.36 targets every route he runs. So, amazing target share there, 38 last week. Like,
beautiful.
With the injuries going around, look, Juju's back though. He's back from concussion, so he'll obviously come in as that second target. I think MVS has taken that back seat now to him. Tony, he's out, presumably. Like, I don't think we've had any.
I don't think he'll get back.
Surely, with his history of hammies, they'd be stupid to roll him out, especially against the Rams. So that to me, this is how you solve this game: is how you're going to play a secondary piece, or do you? Maybe you see Mahomes condenses it down. My only one that I'm half interested in is Justin Watson, who played 94% routes last week. So he was out there running a whole bunch. The other one, which is even more peculiar, and you could do this in a couple of your micros out of your 100, and no one's going to be on him, is Sky Moore, maybe. Only 40%
decent last week.
40% route participation, but of the routes he's running, he's earning a target on 40% of them.
That's big.
So he's doing well when he was on the field, and so potentially he gets rewarded with a little bit more work. That's the narrative you're playing if you want to play him. But
onslaught this game with more of Justin Watson. Love it.
It helps you line up as well elsewhere. Pacheco, he's led the team in carries last week. Only on a 40% snap share compared to McKinnon's 52%. But McKinnon was pretty trash, and ineffective, really.
Got a fumble as well.
Yeah. So is this the week we see Pacheco starting to distance himself? No CEH. This is where he can, got 100 rushing yards last week. Can he hit pay dirt? I don't mind playing him 9K.
No,
I think
that's solid.
And I think the thing we see that with the correlation of running backs is the high team totals. When a team's got heavily favoured like this, they're going to lean on the run because there's no point, going nuts through the air. They're just going to grind it out, get the game done as quickly as possible. So don't mind Pacheco. The Rams, I've got 2 words for you. Bryce Perkins. And that makes you avoid this side of the matchup. They didn't even put him at 8K to even give you maybe some, maybe you could play him. So you're not playing him. Don't play him.
Zero thought.
Don't force a bring back on this game at all. But if you want to, and probably it's Higbee maybe, but even then he's been largely irrelevant lately, so I'd rather not. I'm just going to keep it on the Mahomes side. So my stacks that I'm looking at, the chalk stack is your Mahomes, Juju, Kelsey. I've got to play Kelsey. I can't do Mahomes without Kelsey. I just don't see.
You'll set those two together.
There's certain leverage plays that just are just losing plays, and so I'm not going to try to get cute, but I think maybe pivoting off of Juju for a Watson or more, or pair him with Juju and Kelsey to go the 4 pieces there.
Yeah.
And I think I will sprinkle in a little bit of Pacheco throughout other builds as well.
Don't mind it. All right. Well, there you go. There's our 4 matchups that we're looking at. And really 2 of them were just because the totals are stupid. Stupid. And I think the difference between Mahomes and Tua is that Mahomes just goes through the air regardless. That's how they win. It's through the air. Whereas I think the Miami offense can afford to just put it on the backs of Wilson and most of it. That's how I differentiate that.
Yeah, they got that 2-headed monster now.
Exactly. All right, so let's move into some positional just mentions in terms of who didn't make our mentions in the matchups. In terms of quarterback, watch Lamar Jackson's status. He's priced down at 16,000. And look, we haven't seen the ceiling for a while, but he's against Jacksonville. No. It could be a week. It could be a week where we see the resurgence of Lamar Jackson. So I don't mind him. And look, Joe Burrow priced up here at 13,500 against Tennessee. The Titans are so good against the run that teams have to pass. But hey, guess what? Burrow's really good at passing the football. And at 13,500, I really think he could have a 30-point game here against the Titans. That's wouldn't surprise me at all. Values, Arch, what do you like?
Look, Burrow potentially was going to be my value, but you nabbed him from me. I think 13K is
that's not a value yet. You can't say that's a value.
I don't mind that as a value. Fields is still around the similar price he's been, but we know the ceiling there, so there's value to be had there if you can
Has
hit
to be
it.
healthy. Has to be healthy.
Yeah, that's right. But really, I don't really want to play anyone else. Like the only thing I'm, and I don't believe in what I'm about to say, Rowan.
Okay.
But I want to hear your thoughts on old mate Mike White if he gets the starting gig in Jetsville.
Look, I don't hate it because Chicago are on defense are trash, and let's go as Michael Carter stack like from last year where he just peppered Carter.
Yeah,
in those
31
really short
Draftstars points he got last year in his first full start for the Jets.
That was crazy.
Like 400
Flacco
yards.
did it. Flacco did that earlier in the year. Like if that's the offense they go to, then like that style.
To me, I think the team wants to show out. From what I've read, and it could be all trash, but I don't think the team likes Wilson, and I think they might.
I don't think anyone likes Wilson.
Yeah, well, I try to like him as he's on my main dynasty squad, but that's the only reason.
Let it go.
But to me, it's like I think that people will live for someone they prefer to play for, and so if I don't mind something like you're gonna be able to fit in some guns elsewhere, maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. Look, I don't mind a Mike White, Michael Carter, Garrett Wilson stack. I'll just lay that out there. But we'll move on. Yeah. Running backs. Who is your favorite running back for the week?
Obviously, apart from the ones we've already talked about, is Derrick Henry against Cincinnati. He leads the league in carries, yards per game, broken tackles. He's only got 3 touchdowns on the year. To me, this screams positive regression. He's 5th in the league in red zone carries.
Sorry, how many touchdowns did you say he has on the year?
Oh, what did I read?
I don't know what you read.
Oh, you know what? That's his ranking. He's 3rd. Bloody hell. He's going to rate it in touchdowns. Yes.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Love it when the research goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, the positive regression's turned into maintaining the form to fit my narrative. I've just played bloody Derrick Henry. I don't think he's going to be super popular either. So I'll play Henry.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
Especially if obviously it's a nice little bring back on your Cincinnati stacks if you're going to go the Burrow route. For
sure, I think he's a given in that regard. If in terms of value, Rashad White could be the guy if Fournette doesn't get up against Cleveland's super leaky rush defense. So I don't mind him.
And he was coming to take over anyway, wasn't he?
Oh, I think so. Like Rashad White looks he's got juice. He's got juice. I love it.
Yeah.
So I like going there. And I don't hate going back to Brian Robinson with Antonio Gibson priced up at the 12K range. I don't know. Robinson's still got a little bit of something there. That's probably it. It's hard to find value in running back land at the moment. So I'm probably
What about Cordarrelle Patterson? You think he could do something big?
He could. Yeah, he could.
Against Washington.
It's Washington.
To give some points.
Yeah, Washington though, 2nd in defending the rush in DVOA. So he needs to find pay dirt. Really, if I'm going to trust Cordarrelle Patterson. So I'm not sure if I want that in the Atlanta-Washington game. So
I'm
probably not going to go there. Wide receiver land, there's some big names up here. We talked about the top 4. If Jamar Chase gets back, yes, please.
Yes.
Let's do Jamar Chase because him and Burrow just have a superb connection. We saw what he did the last 2 games. He was healthy. Love that. And Tampa Bay against Cleveland's interesting. That if they can't get it going with Rashad White or Fournette, which I think they will, but Godwin's just always good for targets and Mike Evans good for in the end zone. So I think Brady's back on the up. I think we're starting to see a positive turn for the Tampa Bay offense. So I don't mind those guys. But Arch, you've got a value of the week. Is that right? A value of the week in wide receiver land.
Let's do it.
Inconceivable. Inconceivable.
Look, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, he's my value play of the week this week. 12.3K Rowan is pretty dirt cheap for the absolute beast that he can be. Disappointed a lot of people last week, but to me, that might just help us keep that ownership low on this slate. Atlanta are last in adjusted fantasy points, schedule adjusted fantasy points to wide receiver. 27th in pass EPA per play. Heineke is going to look for Terry McLaurin. Look, the disappointing week last week, it was really just the second half. He had 55 yards in the first half, and it looked like it was going to be a big day. Then it just didn't happen. And so to me, he bounces back. Last 6 weeks, wide receiver ones against Atlanta are averaging 24 Draftstars points. You're talking about when DJ Moore had his ceiling game of 30.5 points, when Chase had 36 points, when Ayuk, of all people, got 28 points. This is a team where we can target wide receivers to hit big points, and Terry McLaurin is going to be my value this week.
Love it. Love Terry.
Yeah.
It's good to see him back in the good books in fantasy land because he was out for a while.
Well, he might have got straight back into the bad books from last week because he just people played him, and it didn't work out. So I don't.
Yeah, but it's against Houston, and they run against Houston. This is my argument against why I'm not going to play much Hill and Waddle this week.
Yeah.
So it's not because you can't pass against Houston. You can, but you don't need to.
You don't need to.
No. Establish the run.
That's right. Any other values that you've got here?
Well, I always like to just throw out all the 6K guys that I'll probably sprinkle through my lineups, which we actually have covered most of them. I like my Justin Watson and Greg Dortch. Hollywood Brown you can throw in there, but again, I've got my reservations. AJ Green is someone I don't like. You look at his usage, he could come out for 6K, but probably won't. Denzel Mims we're seeing resurface as someone who's getting involved in the game, and so 6K there. Sky Moore I've already mentioned as well, but there's a few 6K guys that are in the 70+% route participation for their teams that I'm sort of looking at.
For sure. Let's talk tight ends. There's a few guys at the top this week.
There is.
We've got Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle all priced up. How are you viewing this, Arch? Do you like Andrews? Obviously, Kelsey's the Mahomes pair. You love that, but Andrews and Kittle, where do you sit with those guys?
Yeah. So obviously, people scared of Andrews last week. Can't remember what his ownership percentage ended up coming out as, but there was the fear that he wouldn't get. He'd come back limited. He came back and logged 93% snaps, Rowan. And he had a 25% target per route run. So he went straight back in, and they obviously went to his right, and he had some usage. Didn't get a touchdown, and obviously probably underwhelmed at 12 points. But you can see he's back.
Yeah,
and so sure. if Lamar's back and actually playing healthy, I think against Jacksonville, could be a potential for a big Mark Andrews week.
No, like it. Kittle was massive last week, but that was against Arizona.
Can he keep that going?
Maybe. I don't see why not. New Orleans are not a scary team to play. Value though at tight end, it's you never really love going down the list here. Evan Engram, 7Ks, okay-ish. Greg Dulcich, I feel like there's more to have from old Greg. I think there's something to explore, and I think he might start progressing now that he's had some consistent time in the team. So I don't mind Greg Dulcich. I mean, Cole Kmet, he's got a ceiling. If he's with Justin Fields,
and he's
like
got a deep floor.
Yes, he does. So it's a bit scary at 6. Juwan Johnson though is finding a real role in this team. I mean, it's 3 touchdowns, but even then, it's consistent over 40 yards. And if you're getting 3 or 4 catches for 40 yards, he's giving you 8 and something points. And then, touchdown over that. Don't mind it. And with San Francisco's pressure, that might be the way to go. The guy that I really like, though, is Cade Otton. I really like Cade Otton. He's coming on as a player. Tom Brady's learning to trust him. And as a red zone threat against Cleveland, they're going to be there a few times. So I like Cade Otton. as well. DSTs, quickly. I mean, the Chiefs against the Rams is probably the easiest play of the week. Like, why not? Like, the Rams with Bryce Perkins, gross. So, Chiefs and Dolphins, just play them, really, for they're the best plays. The Jets, though, they've got a really solid defense, and if Fields is a bit banged up and can't stand under the pressure, then I don't mind the Jets. 49ers, great as well. They're probably my top 4. Chiefs, Dolphins, 49ers, and Jets. The values, though. Arch, what do you think of the values?
Look, it's probably something I need to spend a little bit more time thinking about, but just on first glances, as these salaries got released just a mere hours ago, probably looking at Atlanta Falcons against Washington as potential for some maybe turnovers. Chicago against the Jets as well. Who knows what quarterback they're going to get. Maybe the offense does stifle, and hey, they could easily throw a lot of turnovers as well. Saints as well against San Francisco. If you want to go Stone Min, maybe could be okay.
Yeah, I think that is where I would go if I had to go Stone Min. But I think my favorite out of all the values, my favorite is probably, I don't know, the Jags potentially, given how Baltimore hasn't really fared super well the last few weeks. So, but I also don't mind the Falcons as well.
Yep.
All right, here we are. Favorite time of the show. Let's build a lineup. Where are we going to start here? What's your favorite stack, Arch? What's your favorite stack? All the ones we've mentioned, what's your favorite?
Is it gross to say Gino?
Nah, let's do it. I love Gino. I love Gino. And let's go with, who do you like out of Metcalf and Lockett? Like, it's splitting hairs, but I'm probably a Lockett guy.
Yeah.
I've been a Lockett guy for a while, I think.
Yep. Do you want to jam in Walker in there as well? Or do you rather go the tight end?
Nah. Yeah, okay. If I'm going to play a tight end from a stack, out of these two, I think I'd rather play Fant than Moreau. So let's go that. Let's go these guys. We're going to bring it back, of course, with Devontae Adams.
Yeah. So we probably need to let's put jam a defense in first, shall we?
Yeah, sure. Now, I'm not going to go Atlanta because we want to get old Terry in. So let's just go the Jags.
Yeah, okay.
Just for the sake of that.
Yep.
And then
Value of the week, Terry McLaurin.
Exactly. Now,
do you want an Atlanta piece? Probably not.
No, I don't care. I don't care about the Atlanta pieces. Really, what I'd like to do is play James Conner, but to get a bit different. But he's a bit pricey. And then because then I might have to go down here. This is where we get tricky. I honestly think running backs are really hard to decipher this week. But maybe we go Jeff Wilson or Raheem Mostert. Which one do you like? Probably Jeff?
Maybe. Or if you want to go GPP, maybe you could go a Rashad White, maybe.
Yeah, I think Rashad White's an option against Cleveland, for sure. It gives us 9,500. That leaves us in the range of DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Pacheco. Hey, here we go.
Yeah,
Pacheco.
let's do that.
Bang. Love it.
That
gives
works.
us access to that Kansas City monster of an offense. So I
Yep.
don't mind it.
Heavy favourite running back.
At 9K? Yeah, it's solid. That's good.
We've seen a lot of running back builds in the flex takeout tournaments as well lately.
It's true.
Ron.
Alrighty.
Ron.
Yes.
Do you want to build a Thanksgiving lineup just to just finish it off?
Sure. Let's build a Thanksgiving lineup. Let me.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do?
No,
and we'll snip this off and put it out into the ether tonight for everyone.
Sure.
So Thanksgiving lineup, I guess our decision here is: do you want to do Allen or you want to go on the Goff side?
Let's do Goff because he's easier. In terms of salary, it's nicer.
Yep.
So if I'm going Goff and Amon-Ra, and let's go find DJ Chark.
Yeah.
Just for a punt play, which is
now I want to see what happens where our lineup goes if we fade Diggs and go Gabe.
Yep.
And
do we play
Knox.
Singletary?
Yeah. We've got Amon-Ra, so we're hoping that it's happening on the other side because we've got two Detroit pieces. I think Singletary is the running back. We go there. I think that now allows us to go a bit more chalk with a Stevenson.
Yeah, I agree. Tight ends. Let's just play. Dalton.
Or we could go on Knox as well. Go real heavy into the game. Yep, love the Stevenson Patriots stack there. Oh man,
Could have got Diggs in.
Yeah, well, let's go. No, but let's go Barkley. I actually thought that might have been Barkley at the top, so I'm used to seeing Barkley so high.
What do you think? I like Hawkinson just better than Schultz.
Yep. Yeah,
and I don't mind going against the Patriots defense here. I don't think
that's fine.
You're gonna have to do it anyway. All right, there you go. There's a good little. I actually really like that team. I'm a big fan.
Yep.
All right.
Enter it now.
Enter it quick.
Beautiful.
Alrighty. Thanks everyone for tuning in and checking us out. Don't forget to like us and subscribe to us on all of the socials. Hit up our Patreon where you can find our exclusive rostership projections for the week. Very helpful indeed. And yeah, we can't wait to see you tomorrow for Thanksgiving, and then of course in the TFL contest at bit.ly/week12. It's going to be great. Arch, thanks once again.
Beautiful. Bye-bye.